Hej kära whiskyvänner och varmt välkomna till Whisky Play. Som ni ser sitter vi inte inne i den här lite gråa och tråkiga lokalen där vi brukar sitta, utan idag är vi på Stockholm Beer and Whisky Festival. Och vi är inte på någon mindre plats än Glenlivets mycket mysiga hörna, eller hur professor?
Här har vi det väldigt bra får man säga, och vi ska testa lite whisky som jag har förstått.
Vi ska testa whisky så småningom, men först vill jag ställa frågan till dig Spejaren. Igår var dag 1 på öl- och whiskymässan, hur var den?
Ja, jag hoppas att ni alla såg det, men den var ju fantastisk. Den var mycket bra, fick prova en hel del fina whiskys. Jag har faktiskt med en liten provning här också igår på Glenlivet.
Ja, med. Vad har du för förväntningar idag, professor?
Mina förväntningar på dagen är enkla. Vi ska göra lite mer djuplodande material. Lite podcast kanske. Men just nu ser jag väldigt mycket fram emot att få ställa den här rangen mot varandra.
Good. So then I will switch to English now, because we have together with us a person that I don't think that you have seen on our channels before, and that's Tristan Campbell. He's the global brand ambassador for Chivas brothers. A warm welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Could you tell us a bit about Chivas and what you do at Chivas?
Yes, of course. The Chivas Brothers is the brand owner of the whiskies and gin business at Pernod Ricard. And it's my job as a global brand ambassador to bring the heritage of all those brands to life and teach our customers and our salespeople around the world all about the brands, take them around the distilleries in Speyside and do the tours, and then meet people like yourselves, customers, and do the tastings.
Yeah. How many days per year do you travel in this role? I mean, it must be a hell of a lot of days that you travel.
Well, it's about 40% of our time we travel.
40%.
The rest of the time we spend at Speyside at the distilleries.
Yeah. And your background, what's your interest to the whiskey?
Well, in actual fact, I started with the company 9 years ago, and before that I had no real interest in whiskey. It was just through working with the company that I developed an interest in whiskey, and in particular our brands, and I got very accustomed to them. And in the last 2 years, I started as a brand ambassador with the company.
Yeah. And today you have brought with you a range of Glenlivet. Could you begin with explaining why it's called the Glenlivet? I know there's a story connected to that.
Yes, the Glenlivet. Well, of course, there were many illegal or illicit stills up and down the valley in the Glenlivet, and it wasn't until George Smith got the first license to distill in 1824, and he became the first legal distillery in the valley, and because of that he was able to fight through the courts for the right to call it the Glenlivet, because up until that point many other whisky distilleries had tried to use the name because it was a name synonymous with quality.
Yeah, simple as that.
Yeah.
And could you speak a bit about the range that we're going to taste with you today?
The range we're doing today is a favourite of mine. It's called Nadurra. Pronounced in Scottish, it's Nadurra. Nadurra is a Scottish word which means natural. This is as close as you can get to visiting the Glenlivet distillery, going into warehouse number 1 with your glass and dipping it into the cask and taking a dram straight from the cask. It's non-chill filtered, it's not coloured, and it's cask strength. We don't do anything to it. We pour it out of the cask and into the bottle, so you can enjoy it as it's supposed to be enjoyed.
This with warehouse number 1, it seems like something you want to do each and every day, Professor.
Yeah, I will probably move there someday.
Yeah. And you, Spejaren, you're an old fan of the Nadurra range.
Yes, as a matter of fact, I have all 3 at home, and I enjoy them quite a lot.
Yeah. So, could you give us some instructions on how we're going to taste it? What are we going to do?
Yeah, well, we're going to take the first glass and let's have a little look at it to start with. This first one is the first fill American oak.
Yep.
And it's just a beautiful pale golden colour. Now, this particular one is cask strength. It's 59.1%. So, as we approach it with our nose, we may have to approach it several times before we start to get some of those flavours, just to get past the strength of it. So in we go. Right away there, we're getting some beautiful sweet orange notes.
Oh yes.
And of course the vanilla. Vanilla comes right out.
Some dried fruits.
Yeah, dried fruit.
It's very fresh.
It is fresh, isn't it?
Yeah.
Have a little sip of
Yeah,
it.
let's see.
You can feel the strength.
Yes, of course. So, for that reason, I'm going to recommend adding a splash of water.
Yep.
Yeah.
Often, when people are tasting single malts, they're coming at it with a pipette, just adding one drop. But I have to tell you, whenever the master distiller and the master blender are nosing and sampling the whiskies in the sample room, they take everything down to 20%. The reason they're doing that is, of course, for consistency, so that everything's being nosed at the same strength. I don't say for a minute that you should take this down to 20% today, but there's nothing wrong with a good, generous splash of water just to help open it out a bit.
I'm normally the one who is a bit against.
And I'm the one telling people that you can blend it down to 20% if you want to, if you like it. It's nothing wrong with that.
So you're proving a point once again, that you're always right.
Yeah.
But I will follow Tristan's example here then.
And isn't it also watering it down to 20% partly because alcohol numbs your senses if you're gonna nose and taste a lot?
That's right. If you were doing an awful lot of whiskies in one day, like the blenders do, then yeah, the alcohol would numb your senses. So it opens it out.
To prove another point, I do differently here and just take a little.
Yeah, just to prove another point.
Get your nose back in again.
Actually open up quite a bit with the water. More nice touches, not so... It's very like this in the beginning. Very strong. That's more balanced.
Yes. The orange is coming out much more through the vanilla.
Also find some lemon in there.
It's much smoother to
evens out the rough
feel.
edges of the cask strength.
It does, yes.
Which is a bit of a shame for some whiskies, and I think actually this one is good with some water in it. But for some whiskies, you want those rough edges.
Yeah, you want
but
it to be a bit
this
of a
one
slap.
gains in the watering.
You can still enjoy it with the rough edges, but to do a proper tasting and appraisal of it, you do need to
Exactly.
add some water.
Nice. So, what should we do next?
I would like to ask about what's your overall impression of this whiskey?
It's a very competent Glenlivet. I expect that this is not very old, but it's very fresh and has a very clear style, I would say. And I like the style. It's the bourbon style with heavy vanilla tones, as Tristan said, with the citrus tones as well. But it's not very complex, but it's a very nice whiskey.
Yeah. And I agree, and I like this clinical rough edges that it has. I really love it. And also love the balance of the whiskey in total. Also I love it because it's bourbon. I tend to like bourbon. Spejaren?
No, and I agree. I think a lot of this is fresh, and it's, we're approaching autumn now. It's a fresh, reviving, reminds me of spring, and we know we're going to survive winter once again.
You know how long winter is in Sweden, right?
Unfortunately, yes.
You're right, actually. I agree. This is a spring or summer whiskey. It's perfect for the beach.
All right, great. So let's move on to the next one.
Okay, well, the Nadurra-range is a bit of an exploration in casks. So the next one we come to is first fill Oloroso, and it's all matured in first fill Oloroso sherry casks. Again, it's cask strength, and this particular one is 60.4%. Let's have a look at it first of all, and you can really see the difference between that and the American oak.
Yeah, the golden color.
Lovely dark golden colour.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And I can just tell that I'm going to enjoy this right away by the colour of it. And again, being strong, we'll probably have to approach the nose a few times but it hits you right away. The dark fruits, the raisins.
Dark fruits, marmalade, chocolate.
Yes, the dark chocolate, marmalade.
Everything that you should get with a good sherry cask you have here.
Actually, we did a review of this one, and I think I called it the candy shop.
Yeah.
Because that's really what it is.
Have a sip of the candy shop.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
It's beautiful.
This is a beauty.
And what a lovely finish it's got as well. It's got a long, lingering finish that you can enjoy long after you've had your sip.
Yeah.
So still, I believe this is a pretty young whiskey, but it has a really long finish considering that, and it's so nice with all the chocolate and the marmalade and everything like that. The
surprisingly mature for how young we believe it is.
Maybe we shouldn't say that this is a new whiskey to us. I mean, we actually said that this is probably the best release for the last year.
Yeah. And basically, if you're speaking about sherry bombs, which we are doing a lot, this one is in the absolute top, I think, with Glenfarclas 105. That's amazing.
This one is better.
And this one is better.
It's much better. But this is an exceptional whiskey. And especially for the price, considering that this is actually affordable in Sweden. Yeah.
Tristan, what was the idea behind this? Why did you do it in Oloroso? What was the idea?
Well, it's just an exploration in casks, as I mentioned, trying out the main different cask types that we mature whiskey in. Just to separate them out, people can see, the difference is totally different in each cask style. And what we're going to do just now is have a little experiment in some cask blending. So what would like you to do, if you're finished tasting your Oloroso one, I'd like you to tip a little bit of that into your first fill American oak. It really won't take very much at all. And then give it a little swirl about. And then go back to that, and you'll see how that's really, really changed your first fill American oak.
Ooh, now this is exciting.
This is exciting. It's brought out it's really brought out the vanilla. It's added some nice sweet notes to it as well.
It's like a cake.
Yeah.
It tastes like a cake, like pancakes.
So now we have vanilla on the chocolate cake as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and this just it shows you how when we're making blends and other whiskies, that it really takes very little sherry cask matured whiskey to have quite an impact on the blend.
Yes.
It really changed it.
Yeah.
Really.
It's nice. It's blending on demand
Yeah.
while drinking.
Don't actually know if I'm dreaming right now, but in my taste it became longer as well.
It probably did because of the sherry.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
That was a really good experiment.
We will add to that in a moment.
Yeah.
With the last one.
Okay. So, number 3.
Number 3. This is the newest in the Nadurra range, and it's the Nadurra peated. Now, when I say peated, don't think of a traditional peated whiskey, because it's not. It's a cask finish. We don't peat them out at Glenlivet. It's normal, everyday Glenlivet, and what we do is we take it and we rest it in casks which had previously held a heavily peated malt from Hela for a period of 12 months. And that gives us this perfectly balanced Glenlivet, which has nice smoky peaty notes. Let's have a sniff. But not totally killing and masking all the other nice flavours of the Glenlivet. We can tell it's a Glenlivet.
Yeah, you can tell that right away.
Fresh, fruity, floral, but you've got a nice, not subtle at all, you've got a nice peaty, smoky note to it.
You can really, like the peaty is really from the charred barrel. It's that kind of peatiness.
Yes.
And I know that you have some problems with it, like tasting rubber sometimes.
Yeah, it's a bit sulfury, rubbery peat, like the one very commonly used in Cool Isla, for example. And I have a bit of a problem with that, actually, but that's a personal...
But we don't, so...
I know.
Add a little water, and it really helps those flavours to come out.
I actually love what you just said, because we wrote yesterday on the blog that something that you can never take away from this Glenlivet is that it's truly a Glenlivet.
Yes.
That's what we wrote, that the first thing that you can feel, alright, it's peated, but it is a Glenlivet.
Yes.
The ground recipe is still there.
That's right.
So let's try it.
The casks themselves, there are casks. We are buying in malt whiskey from distilleries which peat their malt for our blends, and we're buying that in as new make spirit, and we're filling that into our casks. That means that we've got control of those casks, and we can control the quality of the spirit. Not only the peated spirit, which is going into some of the blends like Valentine's and Chivas, but also we can control for this as well. So we're making sure that there are casks, they're top quality. That gives us a nice quality spirit for our blend and for this. And to develop this, the blenders and the master distiller were drawing samples from the casks every 2 weeks to see the progression of how it would extract some peaty notes from the cask.
Oh, yeah.
And just when they had it at the right amount of time, which was 12 months, that's when they decided it was at the optimum for bottling Nadurra peated. So I think they've got it spot on.
Yeah. Do you know for how long have you been experimenting with second fill whiskey casks peated for Glenlivet? Is it pretty new or?
Yeah, it is pretty new, and we're going to be releasing another product very shortly, which is very similar in the Scapa range. Scapa Glanza is also the same thing, the same process. So this product has been on the market now for about a year, and it's been in development probably about 18 months before.
Something really interesting happened when I watered it down. It actually became warmer.
Yes.
Yeah, warmer and fresher.
Yeah.
You're creating an exothermic reaction by adding the water. It gives it a little heat, brings out all those flavours so much more.
Actually, when it rested with water for a while, the sulfuric tones they were softened a bit, so it's a much nicer peatiness to it now.
Why not add a little to your original one there, to your blend? Now with peat, a little goes a long way, and see how you enjoy that. Everyone's will be very different because you'll all have added a slightly different amount.
Yeah.
Real nice. What it added to it was a bit peatiness, but it's not that I'm thinking of. I'm thinking more of the freshness that it added to the first whiskey, at least in my own blend.
I think it adds some depth to it actually. Normally you should marry the whiskies that you blend, but even here, when we don't do it, it still adds some depth.
It adds a layer of complexity, doesn't it?
But I actually want some more Oloroso in there.
Same here. I'm going to try to add a little bit more.
So this
I want to keep my Oloroso. Was that?
This has gone to a blending session now.
But I must say, my favorite, I think, was the first fill with a little bit of Oloroso.
Yes.
That really... I really enjoyed that one. That's something I'm going to do when I get back home.
Since we actually have 5 whiskies here now, since we have blended them and everything about it, I think that we should do our own top lists. Bottom to down. Should I begin?
Yeah, sure.
With the one that I hold the farthest away, and that was actually the last blend that we did.
You didn't like that?
Well, I think it became a bit too heavy in all the different areas.
Yeah.
So my palate right now is going like wild because there's so many things to taste. So I think that would be the one that I will not bring to my own island with me. And for you?
The worst one.
The worst one.
Yeah, the worst one, unfortunately, is actually for me the Nadurra peated, as it is. That one, it's just not my taste of peatiness. It was better when I watered it down, but still, it was best together with something else.
Right, Spejaren?
Well, first I'd like to say it's 5 good whiskeys still, but one I enjoyed the least of the 5 is probably the last blend with it, the 3 together.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if the proportions were off, but no, I didn't.
You're not going to be a master blender,
No.
obviously.
Don't have the feeling for it. So we go to number 4 then. I would also say actually the peated one.
Yeah. Well, I don't think we have time for all the 4. Let's pick your top one.
Yeah. Well, the peated one I said, my top here is of course the Oloroso. I cannot... But it's the truth. It's so good, it's so fresh, and it's like some type of good banana cake with... I don't know, with spices to it. I love it. It's a candy shop. But on my second place, I would still say the blend I did with Nadurra plus Oloroso, because that was really amazing.
Yeah, and you already know my top. It's the blend with first fill and a bit of Oloroso. But I'm quite sure we'll come back to the Oloroso pure as it is, because it is a really fine blend.
And for me, there is no doubt. I mean, it is the Oloroso. It's an excellent ram. It's really good, and it's one of my absolute favorite whiskies. And that's impressive because I'm an Isla guy normally, and this is top 3 for me when it comes to my personal preferences. It's an absolutely excellent whiskey.
All 3 of these come at affordable prices as well.
Yeah, they do.
Yes.
So, Tristan, another question to you, if you can answer it. Which one is your favorite?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
we need to know
of course,
that.
no problem. My favourite is actually the Nadurra peated. I think if we've got the right level of smokiness in there and still able to appreciate all the other flavours that the Glenlivet offers. My second favourite is the Oloroso Sherry because I've got a sweet tooth.
Yeah.
Those are my 2 favourites.
Excellent.
So that's it, the Nadurra-range.
Yep, the Nadurra-range with a beautiful tasting and introduction and everything from Tristan Campbell. And Tristan, thank you very much for joining the show and enjoy your stay now in Stockholm.
Thank you, you're very welcome.
Yes. Och med det så avslutar vi här ifrån Glenlivets Nàdurra-range och tackar för en jättetrevlig prövning. Vi hoppas att ni får möjligheten att göra någonting liknande. Skål!
Skål.
Skål.